I'm back with your week ahead tarot reading. We're going to do things a little differently today. I am going to give you an overarching theme. Then we're going to do a little bit of a story about that. And then we're actually going to jump into each of the astrological signs. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information around your sign, just so you can have some more personalized information. So I haven't done a video for 3 weeks. If you follow my Facebook page, I did do an article there. But yeah, looking forward to today and really glad to be back. So the overarching theme that I got for this week is clear endeavor, which is this card here. Clear endeavor. So what that's asking of us is what it is that we truly desire requires a bigger commitment from us. So I think that's really fitting with the astrology, because in my last videos I've been talking about how this really sluggish energy that we've been going through for quite some time is really starting to thin out and move a lot quicker and there's going to be a lot more momentum moving forward, and that is really starting to pick up now. And I'm certainly even noticing it in the way that I'm eating. I feel less like I want to eat. I don't want to feel so sluggish, and I'm feeling a lot lighter and I've got a lot more energy. So it's interesting how things just naturally change. So now that we've got this clear endeavor for our overarching theme this week, it really does make sense that what it is we've sort of been thinking about and really wanting to bring to life or put more work into really now could benefit from a bigger commitment from us, and also the energy is supporting us to commit to that anyway. So I just wanted to sort of recap on that. So I'm going to pick a couple of cards just as a bit of a story here today. Alright, so we've got the Death card to start with. Let's start off with a nice dramatic one, hey? Now I love, and something I think is really important in tarot to explain, is that the most ominous looking cards are always the most transformational. So this is a death of something in order for something new to evolve. And that really makes sense with our overarching theme, that, you know, that bigger commitment that we need to make. It might really mean that maybe there's some things that need to die off in order for us to move forward with that. Maybe we have been lazy in some way, or maybe we've been neglectful, or we have some patterns or habits that really aren't serving what it is we truly desire. So in order to move toward creating that thing we truly want, it's really important to have a look at the things that aren't really serving that. What are these unhealthy habits? What are these unhealthy thoughts? Maybe there's certain conditions in your living space. Maybe it's people that you're hanging out with that aren't a good influence on you. It could be anything, but we've got a death there. So that's good, because we're also in a place where we're actually able to see with clarity what isn't working. And if you don't feel like you can see with clarity, then spend some time meditating, going for a walk, and just really just contemplating, you know, because when we do that and we allow that stillness, that's when information can come in and it can help us really work out what's going on and what we need to do next. So the next card is the Knight of Wands. So these cards I'm pulling to sort of create a little bit of a story around this overarching theme. So the Knight of Wands is all about taking action toward your mission, your purpose. You know, what is it that fires you up? What is it that you're really truly wanting to do? And that does suggest maybe it could be something around business. It could be something around like an artistic hobby that you just love to do, or even a new vocation, even a new career. It could be something that's something around those themes. So this card is about really stepping forward with some really good energy and just going for it, taking action toward it. So what are we letting go that doesn't serve that clear endeavor, that thing that we really want to create, that we truly desire? And how can we take action towards it? Because clearly we know what we want to do, and maybe in taking some action, we're going to start to feel a whole lot better about things, and we're going to feel a bit more momentum, which is definitely something that I think all of us really need right now. We need to feel a sense of momentum with things. We're getting somewhere. And all right, so the next card is the King of Pentacles. So I'm thinking that we really want to create something that gives us a real sense of success and achievement, and that thing, you know, it has the capacity to really hold us in life. It has this stability to it, and this it gives us a really strong foundation, this thing that we truly desire and that we need to give a bit bigger commitment to. Could really be something around work, like, and money, because, and I mean, that also makes sense because a lot of us, you know, the sort of story in the world is quite negative around money, and you know, we hear the word recession, and we hear how everything is so expensive, and we've definitely heard a lot of struggle stories in the outside world around stability and money and career. I mean, lots of people, you know, are getting laid off. We've got AI that's replacing jobs, and there's a real chaos right now, and within that we're really seeking some real stability, and that is definitely the King of Pentacles. That's, you know, we want to take action in order to create this situation in our lives, and I can totally relate to that. And you know, that stability, yes, it comes from wealth and money and abundance, but there's lots of different ways that that we can also receive that feeling. You know, when we're doing something that we love, we have a sense of stability within ourselves. We have a sense of abundance. You know, when we're doing something that we love, that is abundance. That's very fortunate to be able to do that, and it lifts us up in many ways, and it makes us feel prosperous in many ways. So yeah, that's kind of the story that we've got this week. We've got a clear endeavor. We've got something that has to die off and be let, and we have to let go of some certain things. It could be one big thing. It could be lots of little things that are necessary for us to reach for what we truly desire. And then we have the Knight of Wands, which is about taking action. And it's also, there's some really good energy behind that, and it's about really getting up some really good momentum. And then what it is we're really kind of working towards is creating a sense of stability and prosperity and wealth and abundance and real sense of like maturity in that. A real sense of like, yeah, you know, I can really hold myself here with what I've achieved, you know, like the king is like he's at the very top. He's the one who has really come through the whole process, and really from his life experience has come to a very good place where he's really achieved it all. And he can really rely on himself, and others can also rely on him. So he's in a great, fortunate position. So, yeah, that's what we're sort of exploring at the moment. So, what I'm going to do today is, that's okay. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do a card for each of the zodiac signs. But before I do that, I just want to explain what we call the primal triad in astrology. And basically, it's the three really key parts of your chart that you just need to start with before you start with anything else in astrology is the zodiac sign that your sun sits in, which is what we kind of call our star sign. So generally, most of us know that because it's just the month that we're born in. And then we've got the moon. What sign does the moon sit in? And so this really represents our heart and our emotions and our soul and what we love to do. Our sun represents our sanity and our happiness. Like it's the core of who we are. But then there's another sign that's also really relevant, which is called your rising sign. So this, in order to know that, you have to know the exact time of when you're born. It can be a couple of minutes out, maybe half an hour or something, but you'll need an astrologer to help you work that out. But that sign is important because that sign is the mask that we wear in the world, and it's how people kind of absorb us and take us in, because we're so complex. People, we can't see everything about someone when we look at them or we chat to them, but our rising sign really gives us an energetic flavor that people sort of get from us straight away. So I am, for instance, my sun and my moon are both in Cancer, which is a lot of watery energy, but I have Aries, which is a fire sign, as my rising sign, which thank God for that, because I'd probably be a watery mess. So I really am grateful for that fiery rising sign. And I think that I come across much more fiery, and the qualities of Aries are really obvious in me. However, underneath that, I'm actually quite a sensitive, emotional, nurturing person. So the other thing about that is that the rising sign is who we're rising into. It's an energy that we really want to try and embrace and mature. So yeah, that's the primal triad. So when I read for each of the zodiac signs, you can read each of the three. So when you know what your sun, your moon, and your rising are in, you can pick all three of them and then listen to the cards that I pull for those signs, and you'll immediately get an instinct and a knowing for which ones are really relevant right now. Or they might all be relevant, but you'll know when you hear them. But it's really good to be able to explore those different ones and to understand what that is. So I might even do a video on the primal triad and maybe just go into it with a little bit more detail. Anyway, let's get to it. That's another thing I should mention is, if you don't know what any of these are, since this is such early days in my videos and I have a small following, you can ask me to draft up your birth chart. You just need to let me know where you were born, what time you were born, and the year that you were born. And I'll be able to create a chart for you and let you know what those three details are. And I can also send you the picture of your astrology chart, your birth chart. All right, so we are going to start off with Aries. So like I mentioned, that's my rising sign. So this card will be relevant to me as well. So for Aries this week, how can this clear endeavor be supported? So it's the Star. That's a really beautiful card. And that card really represents hope and renewal. So it's really important to, Aries is the first sign of the Zodiac, and we've got some planets that are really all about to move into Aries at the moment that have been in Pisces for quite some time. So part of this big transition and this big movement forward has been about this push and move into Aries, and it's like it's the starting point. It's like the ignition. It's the first explosion of when we begin the Zodiac. So in this time where we've really been waiting for this real energetic shift, to have a hopes and desires for our future and what we're creating is pretty fundamental. So that's how I feel the star relates here. But also the thing I feel about this card is that, like, it's about really, like, enjoying your inner world, like just feeling safe and reveling in that internal inner country that I coined by Holly Ringland, I believe her name is, The House That Joy Built. She talks about it in her book in this such a beautiful poetic way, our inner country. And so that's what this card really reminds me of, is going into our inner country and really tapping into what it is that we desire, what is it that we're wanting to create, and really enjoying and feeling into that beautiful vision. That's what I'm seeing for Aries this week. So really take the time to enjoy that beautiful landscape and that beautiful dream, and that, to summon up that big commitment that is required to bring what we truly desire into reality. Yeah. All right. So now we have Taurus. So what card have we got for Taurus today? All right. We have the Two of Wands. So this, for Taurus, is really about contemplating and looking out into the world, as Taurus does from its beautiful little spot on the top of the hill, the bull sitting there taking in this beautiful scenery. What is it that the bull wants to do? And in terms of what it wants to do, this is about, the wands are about our ambition, our mission, our quest. Maybe it's a business, it's some sort of creative pursuit that is being born, because prior to the two is the Ace of Wands, and that's that initial spark of an idea, of a passion. And so the two is about really starting to collate all the details of how you want to start to build that idea. So for Taurus, I think you're really in the early stages, actually, this week, of really kind of having a broader perspective and understanding exactly what it is that you actually want to create. So Taurus, that is the energy for you guys this week. And now we have Gemini. We have the Queen of Cups. This is a really beautiful card. The Queen of Cups is emotional maturity. It is beautiful feminine energy. It's about really being able to sit in yourself whilst experiencing a plethora of different emotions, and really being able to choose self-love and self-care in all of that, because there's a real deep knowing of oneself and a very, very mature emotional intelligence there. So Gemini, I think, really reaching for that sense of emotional maturity and really having your emotions in check is a really important thing this week, in order to really cultivate an ability to pour in that bigger commitment to that endeavor that it is that you're wanting to embark upon. So it's really about reaching for a sense of emotional maturity, because there can be all sorts of different situations and environments and people and all sorts of conditions in the outside world that will easily have their effect on you. But do you want to be rolled around and react to all of that? Or did you want to be in a place of stability where you control your emotional self, not the outside world? So that's a real focus this week for Gemini is, whatever's going on in the world outside of you or what's happening externally to you, don't engage in it. Just bring yourself back to that sense of emotional maturity, and you've got this. And remember that emotional intelligence means that you can still hear what it is that is right for you and what is best for you. Self-love, self-care in the face of all of it. All right, so the next card I'm pulling is for Cancer, which is me. All right, just gotta shuffle it a little more. So, we have the 5 of Wands. Ha! Alrighty. So, 5s in the journey of each suit are the conflict card. They're the low point. Yeah. So this is about, just battling it out with others, but not really for any major reason. Like, it's unclear and it's messy and it's chaotic. It's like everyone's got different ideas and no one's kind of aligning with one another here. It's a bit of folly, really. It's just a bit of a pointless battle is what's going on. And it's to do with, because it's Wands, so it's our mission, it's our purpose, it's our ambition. So maybe, Cancer, we are going to face some issues this week that just, maybe they can't really be resolved. Maybe that's because there's not really that much behind them anyway that we need to worry about them or put our energy into them. He just takes some more from this card. It's like there's chaos around us and there's problems happening. But the truth is we actually, because none of these people in this card are actually hitting each other. So it's like kind of dodging different obstacles and things, but in actual fact, no one's actually touching us. Nothing is actually touching us. We're just sort of in the fray. We're just sort of in the chaos of it. And maybe, our attention is drawn over here or over here or over here. And it's like, whoa, we can't get our feet on the ground this week. So if that's the case, perhaps it's best that we don't commit to too much this week, or we don't try to expect that we'll be able to do the things as easily as we would like them to do, and if we could have some flexibility in allowing those things allowing to let go of some expectations this week. Maybe we can't cook that really nice meal tomorrow night because we can't get the ingredients because someone else needed us to do something and we had to go and pick up a sick kid, or do you know what I mean? There's going to be things that happen potentially that really interrupt us, but just moving through that as best as we can is all that is required of us, and that's all that's really necessary. So yeah, that's how we can support this clear endeavor that we have. And when we ask ourselves, if the overarching theme is like something that we truly desire and it requiring a bigger commitment from us, maybe that card is suggesting that don't go too deeply into your commitment, because we do that as Cancerians, don't we? We really love to nurture and care and make sure that everyone's looked after, but that can also take away from what we're trying to achieve ourselves. So it's about balancing that. It's like, just lower your expectations, or your expectations of how you can take care of people, and don't put that so far above and beyond everything else that you're trying to achieve, because otherwise you'll rob yourself of the energy and to do all of those things, because you're not focusing on what you really want to do. And for me, that's my work right now. I want to invest in my work right now. It's the week back after school holidays, and my daughter's only at school for 2 days. It's like, okay, right, cool. I've got 2 days to do a bit of work, and I've got my brother-in-law coming and doing some renovations. So he kindly is coming later today because I couldn't have all the noise whilst making this video. Anyway, so that's just communicating and dodging all of the ones that are like coming at ya. And the card after the 5 is the victorious card. So I know we know that that's just around the corner. So we can get through that. We can definitely get through that. So the next card is Leo, and we get the Queen of Swords for Leo this week. So what's really going to benefit you this week, Leos, is really clear judgment. Really, really clear, concise mental state. You want to organize yourself in a way where you've really got a clear understanding of what it is that you want to create. And Leo's such a beautiful sign. I always think of self-expression when I think of Leo. I think of the performer. I think of like childlike innocence and playfulness. And the core of Leo is to trust the world implicitly, because it needs to express itself. And I think that this week, having a very, very, very clear sense of what you need to do, what you want to do, and what that bigger commitment is going to look like for you in terms of this new and this endeavor that you're working towards, is going to be really important for you. Also, it kind of ties back into the Death card a little bit that we got earlier in this video for the general kind of week story. But this card is all about cutting things off that don't serve you anymore. So that relates to the Death card in the sense of like, what is it that you need to let go of that's going to help propel you on your journey. And maybe when you do that, you need a very clear mind to sustain that focus and commitment and determination. So it's very much, Leo, about focusing on your mind this week. You need to get you need to have a sense of mental maturity. Think about what you say. Think about what actions you're taking. Think about what kind of thoughts you want going on in your head and what thoughts you don't want going in your head, and be very rational about it. So yes, that's my takeaway from the Queen of Swords for Leo this week. All right, So the next sign we have is Virgo. And we have the Four of Pentacles. And I just giggle then because it does remind me of Virgo, this card. I wouldn't be surprised if Virgo is connected to it. But this card is about really sort of holding on a little too tight. So this week, maybe there's a sense of realizing maybe that, you know, when we hold on so tight to the things that we have or the things that we've worked for, or, you know, our expectations of ourselves, when we are not able to loosen our grip on that, we don't have room for a lot of growth. We don't have room for a lot of change. We don't have room for expansion. And this week we're talking about, you know, something we desire and how we can provide a bigger commitment to that. And so if you're really caught up in like being uptight about things and feeling like, oh, no, I can't do this because I've got to do this, or this card is also about money and the material world. So and stability. So do you feel like you're really having to hold on super, super tight to that right now? Those commitments, those responsibilities, those choices, those things in your life where it's kind of limiting your capacity to do anything else. It's creating a tension within you. So this week, I think that's really important, Virgo, for you to assess your expectations and how are they getting in the way, your current expectations of daily life, of things in the material world. How are those things getting in the way of what it is you truly desire? And is it getting in the way of what you truly desire? And if so, how can you release your grip a little so that you can offer a bigger commitment to the other things? Because, yeah, it's limiting you, right? Okay, all right. Now we're going to pull a card for Libra this week. Okay. All right, so Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is all about an invisible battle. You've got a battle on your hands with invisible energies, invisible obstacles, invisible things like your mind. Or maybe it's trauma that's coming up from the past, or stories that are getting in the way of your mission. This is Wands. It's our purpose in life. It's our ambition in life. This week, you, in order to move towards this bigger commitment to what it is you truly want, you first have to face this invisible battle. Not an invisible battle, but a battle with invisible energies, things that aren't tangible. They're more so in the mind. Or they're things from the past. They're not things that are tangible. So I'm going to pull another card for that, actually, because I know I can relate to that, and you know, that's a difficult situation, and it could be you know, it's one that you don't actually feel quite prepared for. You can see his different shoes that he's wearing. You know, he's had to get ready in a hurry to suddenly try and come and protect what it is that he's created. So you see he's standing on the top of this mountain, and all these wands are below him. So he's really, and it's the number 7. So he's already come a fair way in his journey. You know, he's been through the low point. He's been through the victorious point. And now he's standing there with all that it's achieved, having to now face this other battle and trying to have to protect what it is that he's created. But that's where you have to ask yourself the question, Librans, is, you know, what you're fighting to protect. Is it what you want to keep protecting? Is it what you know, what are you protecting it for? Are you protecting it because it's what you really want in your life and it really is that thing that you truly desire? Or are you protecting it for other reasons? Or are you trying to maintain something that just isn't energetically aligned with you anymore? Are you trying to, what am I trying to say here? It's like, you know, that thing that you've built, it's just got all of these elements to it where you're constantly having to put out all this energy, and it's taking away from the whole thing anyway. It's taking away from the essence of why you did it in the first place. It's like, yeah, I'm doing this thing and I've created this thing and it has, you know, this is what it is, and that's what I wanted. But there's so many elements about it that cause you to have to battle for different reasons. And it's like, is that worth it? Is that what you want to keep doing? And if it's exhausting and it no longer serves you, or it's just taking away all of your energy so that you can't even enjoy that thing that you created, where does that leave you? And I did say I'd pick another card for that. So I will. So it's the Knight of Wands again, which is what we also got this week in the story for the week. So that's again about taking action toward your, because it's in Wands again, towards your mission and your purpose. How can, I mean, this is like, it's like, you know, he's standing here on top of this hill trying to protect or battle against all these invisible forces, and then the Knight in Wands comes along, and it's like, he, in this card you can see that he's really prepared himself now. He's prepared himself, he's put on his armor, he's put on his dress wear, his horse is ready to go. There's a sense of like, hang on, I'm gonna go maybe on a new adventure. Maybe this situation no longer serves. Maybe it's time to take a different sort of action. And I just wanted to, so, because this is really about pursuing a goal, and it's about energy and passion. And that's really what's kind of being interfered with here, isn't it? So how, I think here, making the step from this to this is a challenging one. Because Libra, you want to be passionate about something. You want to take action and to be able to pursue your goal. There's definitely something in the way of that at the moment, and it's exhausting and it's tiring you out, and you really need to make an assessment as to, is that thing worth pursuing, or perhaps do I need to pursue something else that I truly desire, that I do have energy for. Because this card's got a lot of energy in it, and also preparation, but also a great deal of like almost immature, not immature energy, but just the enthusiasm. All right. I hope that you find something in that, Libra. So the next card is for Scorpio. Keeping in mind that the overarching theme for this week is the card of clear endeavor. So what it is we truly desire, requiring a bigger commitment from us. And so a card for Scorpio is the Empress, which is a major arcana card. This is a beautiful card, actually. It is, the Empress really represents the mother. The mother as in fertility, the birth of something new, being in that real fertile time of your life where you're healthy, you're young, you're excited, and you're ready to bring something new into your life. You're ready to give, you're ready to really offer up so much nurturing and caring energy to something new that wants to be birthed into the world. So, this could literally be the birth of a new child. It could be the birth of a project. It could be the birth of a new state of being. But that the birthing that is happening is coming from a place of just a beautiful, beautiful place. Like that inspiration is emanating from somewhere just really special. Somewhere really touching. Somewhere really creative. So yeah, Scorpio, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous energy. And I think whatever it is that whatever the inspiration is and whatever the place is within you where this new thing wants to be birthed is a very, very special place. It has a lot of energy behind it, a lot of life-giving energy. You can imagine this beautiful, beautiful, abundant, flowering environment in nature with this gorgeous babbling brook, and you can imagine like a gorgeous picnic area with food and cushions, and like everything is just beautiful and it's just so delightful. That's the real, excuse the moving camera, my puppy dog's underneath the table. So something really significant and beautiful and creative is really being birthed. So enjoy that and really stay tapped into that vision. Scorpio has a great depth to it. And so Scorpio's capacity to know and to feel is very significant. And I feel like that this really represents the essence of where this vision is coming from, and it's incredible and it's beautiful, and it's a major arcana card, so it's a big moment. Whatever it is you're birthing, it's a big deal, and it's definitely something to not shy away from or give up on or have thoughts that it's not worthwhile. No. You really need to listen to what it is that's stirring in you, and what you truly desire is significant and important, and it's beautiful, and it's just, it wants to birth. Yeah, okay. That's awesome. So now we're going to pull a card for Sagittarius. Okay. Sagittarius, excuse me while I just, it's colder today. Last time I did a video was warm. It's turning into, I think there's only like a few more weeks until winter. I didn't say. All right, Sagittarius. Okay, so we've got the 9 of Swords. So there's something at the moment that is giving you sleepless nights. There's emotions that are coming up. Now they're coming up in your dreams potentially, because there's things that you need to look at. Whatever it is that's kind of spooking you out, it's time to have a look at it. And it's just that these things that are upset, there's something there that's upsetting you, and it's something to do with the mind. So it's thoughts, it's ideas, this card is worry. So potentially there's something that you're worried about in relation to what it is you truly desire, and this clear endeavor is bringing up some worry, it's bringing up some concerns, and those concerns are potent enough to wake you up at night. They're coming to you when they're in your dream. They're just under the surface, and they're there because they need to be looked at and they need to be addressed. And that's going to be really important to free you in terms of being able to make a bigger commitment toward what it is you truly desire and are wanting to create. So this can look again like an ominous card, but it's really oftentimes, there isn't actually any danger. This card really shows how you're worrying more than you really need to, is what it also suggests. It can suggest this, and so you really just need to take care of yourself. It could just be that there's just one thing that's been bugging you for a while, and it's not even that big a deal, the thought, but in actual fact, when you have a look at it, it actually is holding you back maybe more than you think, and it just needs to be addressed, which you may even think, oh, that's not a big deal, but in actual fact, if you just give it a little bit of attention, you will find that it dissolves, and in actual fact, the repercussions it was having were probably greater than you thought. You didn't think it was such a big deal, but maybe it is. So I don't think it's necessarily that you're afraid to face these emotions that are coming up. I think it's more that you don't realize that something that seems small is actually bigger than what it is. That's the message that I'm receiving with this card for Sagittarius this week. So yeah, identify, because Sagittarius, you're a clever bunch. Identify what that little niggle is and give it some of your attention, because it's doing a bit more damage than you think. Okay, so next we have Capricorn. Keeping in mind that the overarching theme for this week is the clear endeavor. So really tapping into what it is we truly desire, because it requires a bigger commitment from us. So the card for you this week, Capricorn, is the Three of Hearts. So this card is really about, the pain of not having your expectations met. And when that happens, we can shut down. Our hearts can really shut down. And maybe for you this week, Capricorn, it's a reminder that you actually do have something there that is something that you're really desiring. I mean, it could even be love. And yeah, maybe you've had your heart broken. And so you shut down and you rule out the potential for that again because you don't want to feel that pain. Now, this does not necessarily mean love of someone else. It could be anything. It could be any type of thing that currently, bring it back to what it is you truly desire, because the energies are there this week for you to really take some leaps and strides if you're able to commit in a bigger way. So for you, Capricorn, what you really need to focus on is, where have you shut down when it comes to what you truly desire? What parts of that have, maybe that desire you've had has been for a very long time, and you've tried different ways to pursue it and it hasn't even worked out. Is that a reason to quit? No, probably not. Well, definitely not, because all of those times that we tried, we learned something. And this really has to do with healing the mind. It's the mind, it's really the problem here is it's the mind that wants to shut down, because that's its way of solving the problem. It's just decided that because things haven't worked out the way that we've wanted, and that our desires haven't been fulfilled, that we're not going to take that road anymore, and we're not going to try that again, because we don't want to be disappointed. But you really need to pull those swords out of this heart. It's really necessary, because the heart needs to go for what it truly desires. It's incredibly important. And the thing about you, Capricorn, is that Capricorn is able and is built to do hard things. And oftentimes it will put a lot of pressure on itself or even others. There can be a real intensity and a real, there can sometimes be like a real authoritarian kind energy about Capricorn. They will work very, very, very hard towards what it is they desire and what they believe in. And it can be a long road and it can be a hard road, but at the end of it, Capricorn is able to create a great work in life. It's something that they can truly be proud of, and it would be an absolute disservice to Capricorn if they were to turn their back on their desire purely because their wishes have not been fulfilled in the past. That is the message for you, Capricorn, this week. Good luck with that. And that's a good card, and a really good reminder actually for everyone this week. So all right, we've only got 2 more signs to go. So Aquarius, you are next. All right, Aquarius. Haha, the Fool. Okay. So this is the first of the major arcana cards. And this is about new beginnings. It's a new chapter. Like this, you've packed all your belongings and you are headed out, and you don't necessarily have a map because you've got this charge in your heart that is just leading you forward anyway. And we have the Fool here who looks like he's about to walk straight off the edge of a cliff. But he's embarking on a new adventure. And because his spirit is just so charged up, and there's a recklessness, there's a foolishness about it. But oftentimes when we are in that energy of like, you're just so excited to be doing something new and going on a new adventure, that it makes it difficult for problems to actually kind of affect you and to, you know, like I'm sure you can all relate to this. I certainly can. When I was younger, going on these wild adventures and then looking back and thinking, oh my God, I can't believe that I didn't, like, something bad didn't happen. And I felt it in the moment that, like, I just felt sort of invincible, I guess. There's that invincibility. And I believe that when you have that, it does act as a sort of protective bubble to a certain degree. So yeah, there's a recklessness, but there's also protection and there's a bigger energy. There's a bigger, you're being protected because you're meant to take this journey. But yeah, it's a beautiful it's a beautiful card about new beginnings, and it's with this energy of a free spirit. So something big is really taking place for Aquarians, and when it comes to this this thing that you truly desire, I think Aquarians are very good at knowing that, and they're not afraid to walk towards that, because living their truth is actually how they stay alive. If they don't live their truth, and oftentimes, you know, the people that are very close to them, that they love dearly, can't even accept it themselves. But then to deny their truth is like death. So Aquarius, it knows what it wants, and it leaps toward it with this free spirit kind of energy, because it would die otherwise, you know. So yeah, that's and so one of the other thing I wanted to say about that is that I don't think there's really much more in the way of Aquarius this week. They're really ready. They're really ready to take on this new adventure. They're really ready to go. There is a sense of recklessness with this card, so just have your mind about it. Have a sense of maturity about it at the same time. You know, like, don't just throw caution to the wind for any old reason. It's got to be something that's really heart-centered and yes, this desire that's been around for a long time, and it's ready. It's time to go. So I don't think that Aquarius will have too much trouble with this energy of this clear endeavor, that this kind of overarching theme that we've got this week. I think Aquarius, you'll step into this fairly organically. I'm gonna use that word. Okay, so we have finally Pisces, and that we picked today is Temperance. So this is a major arcana card, and this is I love this card. This card is I always think about to temper something when I think of this card, which is the process where heavy metals are put under a great deal of pressure, and all of their impurities are removed, and it then finally turns into a much stronger, more valuable metal product outcome. So you're transforming something by putting it under pressure, and so it creates a stronger product at the end. So it's like you're being guided again to remove the impurities in this situation, which is going to require your own sense of knowledge and wisdom and balance in order to get the recipe right. You know, like, it has to be objective, it can't be subjective. You really you need to be somewhat like a scientist, you know. So this week, in order to commit in a bigger way to what it is you truly desire, Temperance is here to assist you. And you are being guided to improve what it is you already have, to make what you already have much more pure and much more valuable and much more usable. Again, I'm using kind of rational terms here. But you need to go in and remove the impurities in the situation. What are the things right now that need to be cleaned up? And when I think about this, you know, I might think about behaviors. I might think about certain foods. I think about things in the home, like maybe the screen for, you know, changing screen time for a child or something. Just adjusting it slightly, and doing so, identifying these impurities and removing them from the situation in order to make everything much stronger in your relationships, in your work, in your home, wherever it is this desire of yours is really being called to, whatever realm that is in life, you can go in and clean it up. Because when you clean it up, you alchemize it and you create something that's much cleaner, it's much more efficient, it's much kinder, it works better. It's just a whole improved ecosystem. Yeah, that's what I'm getting for Pisces with the Temperance card. And so so that process also takes patience, and it takes moderation and patience. So yeah, that's your card for today, Pisces. I hope you really enjoyed this, and I'll see you next week.